Fortnite OG is kind of a disaster right now, you guys, and the Fortnite community is in absolute shambles over it. So if you guys don't know, which I wouldn't be surprised if you don't, OG Season 6 just dropped yesterday with the brand new update that we had in Fortnite, and I'm not gonna lie, it has been fun to play, but there are a lot of weird issues already in just the first 24 hours of it being out. Some are small, some are bigger than you would expect, and some of them have me genuinely sitting here thinking, how do you mess this up so badly? What really struck me, and something that you probably noticed too, was that nothing was promoted for this. We have no trailer, no custom lobby art, no build up whatsoever for Season 6 beforehand. It's like Fortnite just flipped the switch and expected everybody to remember that OG Season 6 was coming out yesterday. So we're going to talk about everything that has gone wrong with Fortnite OG Season 6 so far, stuff that the community has noticed, including the bugs, the inconsistencies, the missing stuff, and also talk about what I like so far to keep it a bit balanced, because it looks like Fortnite is slowly but surely starting to fix a few things along the way, but still there is so much wrong in this mode, and it's really crazy to see how much it's been messed up in just one update. So first off, you guys, and I talked about this a little bit ago, the marketing for this new season was absolutely non-existent. The update dropped with a blank lobby screen, no trailer whatsoever, which I believe is the first time in this new OG mode that we haven't had a trailer before or when the new season dropped. There was no blog post detailing all of the new stuff. There was a little newsfeed thing saying, you know, the new stuff that was unvaulted, but there was also no like in-depth key art. We had this one right here, but I don't know about you guys. This one, something about this is off. It feels like it's really stretched out or something like that. I'm not sure, it just feels off. But how often does Fortnite launch a new OG season like this? And the answer is never. This is the first time a OG season has been like neglected like this, and I'm not gonna lie, it had me thinking at first that Fortnite may have genuinely just forgot about OG Season 6, you know, with the K-pop Demon Hunters stuff, the Fortnitemares build up. I was actually wondering, did Fortnite just like abandon the mode, or did they just forget about it? Now, one of the first small little issues that people have noticed is that the Win umbrella is showing the wrong name. As you guys can see here, it's showing the original Chapter 1 Season 5 name, and little details like that matter to a lot of people. They reflect a lack of polish overall. Additionally, the lobby background got changed to like this just compressed purple color, very bland to compare to what we are used to, and definitely what I expected. I remember the background lobby for Season 6 was actually really cool. This is what it looked like back in the day, and they even did something very similar for OG Season 5. They had, you know, this gas station and, you know, the desert biome and everything, and I'm really surprised they didn't do something like that. It's very, very weird. It's kind of funny to me, you guys, because people online will say, like, don't expect perfection, or, you know, it's not going to be a one-to-one recreation. That's impossible. But Fortnite literally promised a faithful OG return. So when stuff is off, it kind of stings to a lot of people, especially the diehard OG fans. And I am absolutely not the only one just slightly annoyed by this. This is a recurring thing, and I feel like we've had these conversations many times before. They've responded to threads after Season 5 with promises to fix a bunch of changes in OG, like was shown by AllyJax over on Twitter, but those fixes have been minimal at best, and arguably ever since then, they've just messed up the OG mode even more with little problems that stack up over time. Now, one of the biggest things that's been pointed out by people around the community is the incorrect buildings all over the map. As you guys can see here, this taco stand was swapped out for a tilted style building. It literally shows up in the files as 3x3 taco. It's supposed to be just this like little small stand, but the asset is wrong, and the tilted building just is completely out of place over here by this chair that's made out of, you know, this regular wood that you would build in game. Additionally, the teleportation rifts that should be in Wailing Woods bunkers underneath the ground are not there right now. You know, that's a bug. Stuff is missing where it used to live. Now, this is probably one of the weirdest things that I've seen so far in Season 6. The original bush, just the regular OG classic bush that you can wear and hide in, is showing up, but only on Nanite. Now, what exactly does that mean? Nanite is basically a way for Fortnite to make stuff look more realistic, more refined. It's described as like a film asset, and it looks way more advanced than the actual Chapter 1 graphics do. It doesn't look anything like the Chapter 1 bush. It's a little bit brighter. It just has a higher graphics. Looks completely different from the actual bushes that are on the map. Keep in mind, this is just the bush item we are talking about. The ones on the map look normal, so when you're actually using it, you look completely different from other bushes on the map. And to be honest, you guys, I don't know the last time anybody has actually used a bush item to actually bush camp, but it does kind of affect the game a lot. And something that really affects the game is this bug right here, which I've heard is kind of rare. But as you guys can see here, these bushes, for some reason, and it happens randomly according to AllyJax, are just showing up all over the the OG map. Like, they're showing up on mountains right here. They're showing up on little hills. They're just stacked all over the map. And this is one of those issues where it's just like, how exactly does this happen? Of course, I'm not a game developer. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but this is a crazy glitch that I don't believe they've even addressed yet. Now, some of these things like the tilted building being wrong and, you know, the rifts inside of the bunkers of Wailing Woods not being there are really minor and the average player may not notice, or someone who didn't play in Chapter 1 won't notice. But for someone who plays OG a lot, this is the itch that you can't ignore. It messes with your immersion. It's like you see one thing and it's like, okay, that's fine. You see another thing that's different, another thing. And like I said, it just builds up over time and just becomes even more frustrating. Now, another thing that's being brought up a lot is that the initial loot and weapon ads have been a little bit disappointing. First off, the epic and legendary pump shotgun isn't even in the mode right now at launch. That is a big miss in my opinion. I feel like that's one of the biggest draws into OG right now is, you know, the epic and legendary pump returning, you know, the spaz. That's kind of like a Fortnite classic thing. They also didn't include it in the loot pool right away, like I said. Just the fact that it's not here to begin with really does sting. People have already been talking about how weak or limited the guns feel overall. Additionally, the quad crasher is still vaulted as well. And people really don't know why, because even in the files, they actually changed it to make it to where you can actually fly with the quad crasher how you used to back in the day. OG is supposed to bring back everything from that era, and skipping like core mobility items like this really doesn't make any sense. I understand there can be some bugs with the quad crasher and vehicles, but it really just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Another thing too is that double pump is still in Fortnite OG, which I'm absolutely not mad about. Don't get it twisted. I love that. Keep it in there. But the inconsistency is really glaring. You know, they said that they would remove it back in Chapter 1 by Season 5. They didn't say that directly, but they said double pump is back for now, so I assumed that they would remove it when they removed it actually in Chapter 1 back in the day. That promise went absolutely nowhere. I don't know what is going to end up happening with that. When they add the spaz in the game, if you're going to be able to double pump with a legendary and epic pump, that's going to be absolutely overpowered and insane. Now, a lot of people have been defending the state of OG right now, saying people are too nitpicky or it's, you know, not a main mode and things like that, which I absolutely do understand. And to an extent, I do agree with. But the entire point of OG was supposed to be exactness. If you lower expectations, you kind of lose what makes OG special. It's really frustrating for people who have been looking forward to this for a long time. As you guys have probably seen online, there's people who dedicate entire channels, entire Twitter pages, Instagram pages to OG. There's a lot of people who are very passionate about this, and to see it kind of just, you know, thrown together, not really play tested is kind of like a slap in the face. Now, Fortnite initially posted for the promotional material of OG that every tree, chest, car, object is in the same place as it was. That was a big selling point for OG, but when people drop in these building errors, these missing rifts, you know, and odd POIs betray that statement and just make it seem like Fortnite just said that to kind of pull us in, like a bait and switch sort of thing. They tried to lean into nostalgia, of course, by saying things are exact, but when they fail in spots like that, the criticism feels justified. I don't think that this is petty whatsoever. The people who notice these things, of course, they are diehard OG fans, and that makes sense because OG Fortnite was one of the best games of all time. You know, of course, some changes are less obvious. They might pass for nothing to a lot of people, but like I said, they do accumulate, and for hardcore OG fans, those errors are going to add up over time and make the mode just feel cheap. But guys, not everything is bleak. It's not all doom and gloom. They've already made some changes, such as patching fog to make it exactly how it's supposed to be, adjusting the regular pump damage, and they've also made a few visual improvements. So they are listening. When people report these issues and post them online, they are seeing them and fixing them, but kind of slowly. Now, one theory that I have and one that I've heard around from some people online is that Fortnite may be waiting for the big promotional stuff for Fortnite OG Season 6 to come out with Fortnitemares on October 9th. If you guys don't know, the actual Fortnitemares update, the big one, is coming out on October 9th, which is just about 6 days away. You know, maybe that's when they'll do a full marketing push for OG Season 6 with a background lobby, you know, a new trailer, some more key out, some more images, things like that, which is really, really weird. I don't know why they wouldn't just do it to begin with, but maybe they want to make Season 6 more Fortnitemares-esque. Maybe we'll see the Husks return then. Don't know how popular that will be, but we'll just have to wait and see. But another thing too that a lot of people are frustrated about is that the cubes, the runes, the color color changes. They went from red to purple again. That is a whole lore rabbit hole I will cover next video, so make sure you guys stick around because I have a huge lore video for Fortnite OG coming out tomorrow. So yeah, guys, OG Season 6 is fun and definitely has a lot of heart. There are some times where it definitely feels like I'm back in, 2018 Fortnite, but it is flawed and feels rushed in many ways, and I'm very disappointed at the lack of marketing for this, and no trailer or anything like that really does suck. We're over halfway through Fortnite OG at this point. Fortnite really needs to start stepping up their game, and if they're going to treat this like a main mode and want to keep the people that are around it dedicated and invested in what is going on, they need to return that same energy back and fix all these bugs, play test a little bit more, make sure that things are accurate so that this doesn't continue to happen, because I feel like the community is losing trust in Epic Games with this mode. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. What do you think is the biggest issue with Fortnite OG right now, and how are you feeling about OG Season 6? Let me know. Drop a like on today's video. You watched all the way to the end. You must have enjoyed, so drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. I make videos like these every single day. Use code PROZEROYT, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.